Hello, my name is Don Z, and I'm a magician. Now, a lot of people ask, how do you do that? How did you just do that? How do you do the trick? Can you teach me how to do the trick? And there's tons of information on YouTube or other platforms that you can actually find out how. I typically read books or get DVDs or stuff like that to learn how. But nobody ever answers why. Why did you do that? Why do you become a magician? Why do you do magic? There was something, I think it was on Netflix, maybe a show. Sorry, I don't know what the name is, you gotta look it up, but it was on it was like a documentary on magicians and magic. And a lot of magicians have different answers for what magic is. That's what, not why. But if you ask 100 different magicians what magic is, you'll get 100 different answers. And I feel like it's the same thing with the why question. Not many magicians stop to actually think about why they're doing what they do. And they're spending too much time, or majority of the time I should say, on how to do things. How they're practicing tricks, how do you do it, and they rehearse on the how. But again, they don't really answer why. A few know why, but I'm going to attempt to try to explain why we do what we do. And first, I should kind of tell you why I'm kind of qualified to answer this question, and it kind of comes from my childhood. And I grew up kind of financially challenged, to say the least. And but not only that, but my parents, my parents were well, my dad was an alcoholic and some kind of abusive and violent at times, and my mom left him when I was young. Although I still visit him off and on, and then my mom had her own problems. She was addicted to a lot of different things. She smoked, not only cigarettes, but weed, and she did speed when she could afford it, and she had a really big gambling problem. She kind of kicked it towards the end, but when I grew up in Vegas, she had a really big problem doing slot machines, and she would lose money. A lot of times it was the rent money. We had to move around a lot, and so they both had their own, behavioral problems. And growing up, I got the blunt of it. I got a lot of pain, and I was why do they do these things? Why are they doing this? Why? And also when my dad died, I started working. I started doing sales, door-to-door sales, and it was when I was 12. Did door-to-door for 3 years, almost 3 years, and then I went over to Kirby Vacuum Cleaners. I did more door-to-door sales for another 3 years. So by the time I was 19, I had equivalent of a college degree in sales. And while you're trying to learn how to do sales, you learn, why do people buy, right? Why do people do things? So you want to learn why people do things, not only for just the knowledge to the understanding, but also to change people, to influence people into change or to buy things, right? I also I used to smoke as a teenager. So I wanted to learn how to change things. Why am I smoking? How can I change it? I remember for Thanksgiving, one time I got, we used to get donated stuff, donated turkeys and stuff. There was a basket, a gift basket, and inside the basket there was a book from Tony Robbins called Notes from a Friend. And he described that he went through the same thing when he was a kid, where he got a donated basket, and he always wanted to give back because somebody gave to him when they were in need. Anyway, in that book, it was a small book. I read it, and it was great stuff in there. It was a quick read, and it helped me quit smoking for the time being. I also went into the hospital for, I won't go into why, but during the hospital, well, during that time, Tony Robbins was really big on infomercials. He was like on just about every channel, trying to sell his personal power tape series. And if you guys remember infomercials, they were always around. And I didn't buy a tape series, but my mother found, like, a neighbor or something had the tape series, and they were kind of damaged. Some of them were like water damaged and stuff, but they all worked. She had got the whole complete series, and I went through it, and good stuff. I actually have. I ended up finding this one in a thrift store. I think I paid like $14 for it. And for the young kids that don't know what the heck these things are, I still listen to cassettes. And all the information here is still pretty relevant. Although it's pretty, some is dated. Like, it talks about commercials like Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Talks about Michael Jackson and how do you spell relief. So those things are dated. A lot of people, like younger kids, probably wouldn't know what you're talking about. But anyway, it talks about why we do what we do and how to change it. It made me pick up a couple of his books. There's first one was Unlimited Power, and then there was Awaken the Giant Within. I also went through all it wasn't just Tony Robbins. It was Zig Ziglar, Stephen Covey with the 7 Habits of Successful People or Highly Effective People. I liked a lot of motivational stuff, a lot of psychology. So I took courses in psychology, NLP, philosophy. You name it, I probably read it or went through it. And I also did just about everything that Tony Robbins offers. During early 2000s, when you can do like LimeWire or Napster, when people were actually trying to get movies, I was looking for Tony Robbins stuff. Tony Robbins stuff is kind of expensive, so I was able to get my hands on all of his programs, like the Ultimate Relationship Program, Time of Your Life, Living Health, even some obscure ones like his sales stuff and his leadership program, and all good stuff. So I would highly recommend, if you can go to one of his programs or buying his stuff. It's really good because he honestly takes stuff from everybody else too, like Napoleon Hill, the Think and Grow Rich, and he said, even to his own credit, that he read over 700 books on personal development, and his genius is he puts it together and he organizes it in a very comprehensive way and makes it really simple for him to teach it and for other people to pick it up. So that's what I like about Tony Robbins. He's a very good communicator, and he teaches it really well. So he's not really like a motivator. He's more of a coach, right? But a running theme through his programs, especially now, is what he calls the human needs psychology, or 6 human needs. And I was exposed to this probably 15, 20 years ago. In his Ultimate Relationship Program, and basically describes why people do what they do. And simply, it's just pain and pleasure. People do things to gain pleasure or to avoid pain, but more specifically is these 6 human needs. Not to be confused with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is very similar, actually. But Maslow's is like a pyramid, and you can definitely read that or research Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But Tony Robbins is it feels like more complete. And I've tested this with other people and looked at different situations. If somebody does something that you're just like, why did he do that? If you compare them to these 6 human needs, you'll understand. You don't condone it, or you don't, you don't have to agree with it to understand it, right? But you say, okay, yeah, he's just trying to fill his human needs. So I'm going to put a link into the description, and you can actually look up Tony Robbins, because he obviously will explain it better than I could. But he uses more of like a generalization where he talks about why everybody does everything they do. And here specifically, I'm going to relate it to magicians, because he doesn't answer that for me, right? So, I feel it's really true. It's true. So the 6 human needs, I'll go through them, are: number 1 is certainty. Everybody needs the need for certainty, and what that basically is you have to be certain that you can, gain pleasure and avoid pain. You have to know that you can be comfortable. Certainty comes in a lot of different forms, a lot of different ways to get certainty. You have certainty, just by breathing or eating. You can have certainty. Like if you ever didn't have certainty, like if you ever been in an earthquake and you're not even sure if the roof is going to fall in on you, then you know that uncertainty is very uncomfortable, and people will try to get certainty back at all costs. Sometimes, though, a lot of people stay in certainty too long or too much, as certainty is so important to them that they don't venture out and they don't risk things, or they don't, they just get too comfortable, right? So you want to try to avoid not being too certain. The opposite, or the twin to the certainty, is the second human need, and it's the need for uncertainty, or what he describes as positive variety. Because if you had certainty all the time, if you knew exactly what's going to happen every moment of the day, every minute, you knew what was going to happen, you would get bored, right? So you need to have some surprises, right? And he says, who here likes surprises? Is it baloney? You only like the surprises that you want. If you get a surprise that you don't want, we call those problems, right? But we need the problems to feel alive and that's the juice, right? Where the variety, the positive variety, and you'll get that way, like on TikTok or these other things. People want to have something new, something fresh, something different. Otherwise, you get bored. So we need variety in our life. The next one, third one, would be the need for significance, or feeling special, and everybody does it. They all do it in different ways. Like I said, if you go through Tony Robbins, he generalizes. Everybody needs to find, either by the way they dress, by the tattoos they have, more piercings, maybe by the status of their job. Like, I make more money than you, their cars, kids. Like, there's a lot of different ways to feel significant, but we all need it, right? If you feel insignificant, you're going to try to find a way to feel significant. The fourth one would be connection or love or connection. We all want love, but we'll settle for connection. It doesn't have to be an intimate connection, but just if you've ever been alone. I've been single in my 1-bedroom apartment, and you kind of get cabin fever. You need to talk to somebody. Everybody needs to connect with people. And there's all different ways you can do that. You can connect on social media. You can go out and talk to people, go out to parties, or obviously get into a relationship. Everybody needs it. And if you don't have connection or love, you'll feel it, and you feel this drive to go get it. So these first 4, it says it's the needs of the personality. And everybody will try to find a way to fill these 4 needs. If you find something that fills at least 3 of those needs at high levels, you'll become addicted to it. And that's why a lot of people smoke, drink, do drugs, All these things are called vehicles, and that's what magic is too. I was kind of getting to this. Magic is pretty much a vehicle to fill these needs. And so if you think about like your job, are you certain that you can go out and do your work? Sometimes they give variety through your job. I'll just relate to magic. So magic, I'm certain that I can go into a room and blow everybody away, do magic, and get them all entertained and reacting. I'm certain of it because I've been doing it for so long. Now there's variety because I can always switch up my tricks and do different tricks. Also, it's always a new person. This person may never seen magic before, or not me. So it's always a new thing. So you get a ton of variety. So you do it by levels. You quantify it by levels. So level 10, right? So at level 10, I can get certainty. Between 1 and 10, I get a 10 for variety. Significance is like a 20. If you do good magic and you get people to go, wow, you're great, you're amazing, you're outstanding. They give you all these compliments, so you feel very special and very significant doing magic. And of course, love and connection goes with that too. And if you can get those, the other two needs are the needs of the spirit. Fifth need is growth. Everybody needs to feel like they're growing in some sort of way, learning and growing. There's a saying that says, if you're not growing, you're what? You're dying, right? So you gotta learn how to find something that you can grow in. And then the last need would be contribution. Everybody has a need to feel like they're contributing in some way or another. Now, again, Tony Robbins relates this in everything and generalizes it for like relationships. If you're in a relationship and the other person is not feeling like they're getting their needs filled, these 6 needs, then they're probably going to leave, right? And that's why a lot of relationships die, because nobody's ever going to say, oh yeah, I had such certainty that he loved me. We had such variety. We did date nights. We had so much fun. He made me feel special and significant in his life. I was the most important person to him in his life. And we had such a good connection and love. And our relationship was always growing. And he was always contributing to the relationship. And we're always growing that way too. Nobody ever just says, hey, he was filling all my needs, so I gotta go, right? So, and like I said, I've tested this theory out through a lot of different situations and look at it and I'm like, this is true. Like, you can kind of become a psychologist and go, look at somebody and go, why do they do that? And it's because they're filling their needs. What need are they trying to fill? Typically somebody, or most people have like a main need that they're always filling, and that will change how they behave in their life and their destiny. Some people are more significance driven, like they want to feel significant majority of the time, and other people are more about love and connection. So somebody that's more significant driven and somebody that's love driven, they're going to behave completely different ways. Wouldn't you agree? That's the same with magicians. If you find a magician that is significance driven, that he wants to feel the praise and he wants to buy all the fancy cars and look like he's got a lot of money and he's just doing tricks to look how great I am, you get a different feeling from that magician than somebody that's more about the connection or about the variety or about the contribution, right? You like, so you contrast like Chris Angel to Doug Henning, right? So anyway, I won't go too much into that, but you just kind of feel it, right? So there's two different sides of the coin, though. So why are magicians doing what they do? And I'm here to say that we're here to fill our needs. It's a vehicle to fill the needs, and that's the secret behind the secrets. But I learned that when I was younger in magic. I felt like it wasn't just about doing card tricks or sleight of hand. I felt like, well, I'm getting something from this that I don't think other people realize you can get from magic. And what it was I was filling my needs for significance. Sure, you can make a lot of money, but that wasn't it. I was getting connection. It was a variety, and I couldn't really define it, but as I can now. So you guys study that. Like I said, I'm going to put a link inside the bio about what they are, and you can study it from Tony Robbins. But Zig Ziglar said, you can get everything that you need if you help enough people get what they need. So if you can turn around and use magic to fill the needs of others, just by default, you'll gain your needs. And I'm talking about not the spectator, right? The spectator, what kind of needs are you filling? So you should make them feel comfortable and have certainty. Sometimes I've had people say, no, I don't like magicians. That's because somebody used magic as a sharp stick and poked them with it. And they don't like magicians now, and they're uncertain that you're gonna do the same thing, right? But the people that do like magic is they have certainty. They're like, hey, he's here to entertain and have fun. There's variety, because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? There's new tricks, and so that's what the magic's all about. It's about the surprise, right? If you can make the spectator feel significant, like give them the power. And instead of me doing the trick, the spectator does the trick, and then they get the applause. That fills up their need for significance up to a 10. Obviously, connection. You're connecting with people when you can call them by their name and do stuff for them in their hands. That's connection. And it's a little hard to do, but you can if you can give a message, you can do growth. But you're also contributing, right? If you do this, hey, let me show you a trick for free. Let me kind of contribute to you. So you can fill other people's needs with magic. And I think if you can do that, like I said, by default, you'll get all your needs filled as well. Also, not only the spectator, but the client. So when I get hired by a client, if you guys are gonna hire me, no, this is what I think about. How can I help fill your needs? I'll ask you some questions to say, what's most important to you in your life? Or what's most important to you in this special event or your wedding? What's the outcome that you want? What's the most important thing? And it will tell me what your needs are. If you say, the most important thing is that everybody in my family at the wedding feel like they're there to celebrate and they're loved. Your needs are for connection. But anyway, that's one of the things that I always try to fill the client's needs first, rather than trying to fill my needs first. Yeah. So I know I've gone on a long time about this. Hopefully that explained it all. When I do these videos, I have a lot of stuff in mind to do, and then I film it, and then I review it, and I say, I forgot to say something. So hopefully I covered everything and explained it well enough. Again, learn them. 6 human needs: certainty, uncertainty, significance, connection, growth, and contribution. Those are the 6 human needs. When you learn them and you kind of commit them to memory and internalize them, then that's when you can kind of analyze everybody and go, wow, this is really true. This is what everybody does. So it's a really cool thing. Anyway, if you're not already subscribed to me, please hit the subscribe button, and that helps support the channel so I can do more content like this. So again, thank you for watching. Thanks for your attention, and I hope to see you again sometime.